welcome to the deep dive. You know, what if a single week's weather forecast could actually unlock the secrets to a nation's entire climate future? Today, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're diving deep into Azerbaijan's weather, specifically July 7th to 16th, 2025, and what it might reveal about the much bigger climate picture there.
Exactly. Our mission here is really to pull out the crucial insights from this detailed meteorological analysis you've shared. So not just what's happening day to day, but how these different elements, create an integrated risk profile, and importantly, what it all signifies for the longer term.
Okay, so let's unpack this immediate forecast then. From a meteorological standpoint, what's the very first thing that jumps out? Is it just hot weather, or is it something more?
Oh, it's definitely more concerning than just hot. The report projects predominantly warm to hot conditions, yes, but pushing temperatures significantly above average. AccuWeather's forecasts for Baku and the Absheron Peninsula, they show a rise from about 30 Celsius, that's 86 Fahrenheit, on July 7th, up to a peak of 36 Celsius or 97 Fahrenheit by the 14th. That clearly signals heat wave conditions.
A heat wave, okay. So sustained heat over several days.
Precisely. And some central lowland areas could even hit, extremes of 38 to 42 Celsius. That's 100 to 108 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
And one really striking thing, it's how quickly even one heat wave like this translates into, well, tangible economic losses. Azerbaijan already saw a 0.38% loss of working hours just in Q1 2025 because of heat.
0.38%, just from heat.
Yeah, directly impacting productivity. It's a stark reminder, really, that these climate impacts aren't just some abstract future threat. They're hitting the economy right now.
Wow, okay. 0.38% loss in working hours. That really puts that term silent killer into a different sort of economic light. But it's not just the heat, right? The report also highlights strong winds pretty consistently.
Yes, that's a great point to bring up.
Why are these winds particularly concerning? And how are they different from, say, the rain risks we might also expect?
Well, the report identifies these winds as the most consistent issue for Baku and significantly separate from rainfall patterns. We're talking increased intensity here. Maximum gusts hitting 25 to 29 knots in some places. That's 46 to 54 kilometers per hour.
Pretty strong.
Definitely. And the Ministry of Emergency Situations, the MES, they're not taking it lightly at all. They explicitly advise avoiding temporary structures, power lines, tall trees, and they even prohibit small vessels from going out to sea.
Right.
So that shows it's treated as a distinct hazard, requires specific preparation. It's not just a bit breezy. Think about being a fisherman seeing those warnings. It has a real immediate impact.
Okay, so we have this picture of intense heat, powerful winds. You might think the forecast is just, well, dry then.
Yeah.
But kind of paradoxically, another major concern pops up in other regions: sudden, intense rain. How do these seemingly opposite things fit together?
It's exactly that paradox that underlines what the report calls an integrated risk profile.
Integrated risk.
Yeah, so when we talk about this, we're not just looking at heat or wind or floods in isolation. It's about how these separate hazards can, interact, amplify each other even. For instance, while Baku is expected to be largely dry, which fits its average, only about one rainy day in July usually.
Right.
Mountainous and foothill areas face a high risk of intermittent, really intense showers. Think lightning, hail, potentially leading to flash floods and rapidly rising river levels. They even mention wet snow is possible high up in the mountains.
Wet snow in July.
Yeah.
Even high up, it's unexpected.
It shows the extremes, doesn't it? And the MES gives clear safety advice for these things too, like unplugging appliances during storms, seeking lower ground. Understanding the synergy, this integrated risk, is just crucial for effective preparedness, because the sum of these parts is frankly much greater than the individual risks on their own.
That makes sense. That clarity on an integrated risk profile really pulls the short-term picture together. But stepping back now, this immediate forecast, this week in July, it almost feels like a microcosm of Azerbaijan's bigger, long-term climate challenges. What's happening with the Caspian Sea, for example? That's supposed to be a crucial climate moderator for the region, isn't it?
It is, or it was. The Caspian is experiencing what scientists are predicting will be a multi-year crisis. It's warming and it's shrinking. And one really striking aspect here is this positive feedback loop that's developing.
A feedback loop, how does that work?
Well, rising air temperatures contribute to the Caspian Sea warming up. Okay. Then the warmer sea leads to increased evaporation, which causes its level to drop further. But here's the kicker. The lower sea level diminishes its ability to moderate regional temperatures.
So it can't cool the surrounding land as effectively anymore.
Exactly, which potentially leads to even more extreme land temperatures. So warmer air warms the sea evaporates more, the level drops, making the land hotter.
Yeah.
It's this kind of vicious cycle that just accelerates itself.
That sounds deeply concerning. And beyond the sea, the report points to broader shifts across Azerbaijan's climate too, right? A significant warming trend already observed.
Yes, stark shifts. A notable warming of 1.3 degrees Celsius by 2010 was already recorded. And these extreme weather events, floods, droughts, extreme heat, they're becoming more frequent and more intense across the country.
So if we zoom out, what are the wider implications of these accelerating trends, these threat multipliers, as the report calls them?
They really are threat multipliers. They worsen existing vulnerabilities across the board. Water scarcity is a huge one. Azerbaijan is projected to be among the 13 countries globally with the lowest water resources per person by 2025.
That's soon.
13th lowest globally, wow.
Yeah. It impacts agriculture, obviously.
Yeah.
Health, too, potentially lengthening the malaria season, for example, and critical infrastructure. Floods already affect around 100,000 people there annually. Imagine the strain on communities when these hit again and again.
It's clear Azerbaijan is really on the front lines of climate change. I know they're taking steps, strengthening resilience, investing in things like that big multi-hazard early warning system, the US $35 million one, and hosting COP29.
Absolutely, they are taking action. But, and this is maybe the critical point to consider, there's this complex dynamic at play. While Azerbaijan has these ambitious climate commitments, you also have the reality that over 90% of its exports are petroleum-based.
Ah, right, the oil and gas sector. Exactly, and currently there's no official net zero target. So the true deep dive moment, perhaps, comes when you realize Azerbaijan's climate journey. It's kind of a microcosm of the whole global dilemma, isn't it? How does a nation so heavily reliant on fossil fuels navigate an existential climate crisis? It's this incredibly difficult tightrope walk. Economic survival clashing directly with the environmental imperative, and that's a challenge far more complex than just policy statements can solve.
This deep dive into just 1 week of Azerbaijan's weather, it really does reveal this fascinating, almost intricate interplay between immediate risks and these profound long-term shifts.
The key takeaway, I think, has to be the absolute necessity for continuous monitoring and, crucially, adaptive planning. It's about moving away from just reacting when disaster strikes towards genuinely proactive adaptation in what's clearly a rapidly changing environment.
So thinking about that interconnectedness, how heat, wind, rain, the Caspian Sea level are all tied together, what's maybe one immediate assumption about climate preparedness, maybe something you took for granted, that you might challenge now in your own thinking after this?